that switched over to the varsity.
And this actually will be a good game.
This will be.
So Grace was telling me that last week they scrimmaged and the JV actually beat the varsity. And that did not go over well with Coach Morin, as you can imagine.
Yep.
So there might be a little pressure on the varsity tonight.
Well, that's probably why you see him over there. And jumping jacks being done on the other side.
Yeah, they're real loose. And, you know, that's the other thing about volleyball is when you get too tense.
Right.
It really shows up in the way you play. And if you can stay loose, and Grace is a good one at that, she kind of keeps that team loose and tries to keep them encouraged. That's one of her strengths.
I will say they were all stretching one day, and I came in and I said to your daughter, I said, your dad and I have talked, and we've actually got cheerleading outfits that we're going to wear this season. And that's exactly what I did. I chuckled. Straight face. She just kind of, and just very little acknowledgement of me, and I just kind of went on my way.
She knows all too well. But I did. I bought an inflatable sledgehammer.
No
kidding. This inflatable sledgehammer is going to be given to the student cheering section.
Okay.
And this came from collegiate volleyball. We picked up on this at some college volleyball matches where the student section had these inflatable sledgehammers, and anytime there's a kill, the student section, they go nuts with this sledgehammer, and they start chanting, "Drop the hammer."
Well, here we go. Carson Witt. We got Woodman, Witt, Masters, Hennard, Heil, and Wolf back for the JV team. On the varsity team, there's a quick ace on the varsity team. We've got Anna Hancock. We've got Kate Hancock. We've got Lauren Unruh. We have got Haley Webb. We've got Jenny Damarajan. I will get this. Might take me all season, but I will get this. Back to Masters. Masters now up front to Witt. Witt now far side over to Hennard. Hennard fires cross court. Dug out nicely by Webb. Now over the court to Hedeman. Hedeman now up to Witt. Over back to Heil. Heil fires cross court. Over to Hedeman. Hedeman again now sets up. I'm going to have to learn these names. That's going to kill me. Another Hancock.
Okay. So JV with the first score, but varsity answers.
Yep, I'm going to have to learn names real quick. This is going to happen.
Well, you're doing real well with the JV because you followed them last year.
I've done them before. Anna Hancock now back of the two. Woodman digs it out. Back row over to Masters. Masters back up to the front. This one's going to go long and deep back. Dug out again by Hancock. Setting up.
That's Lauren Unruh with the kill.
That one's going to go out of bounds, and the varsity team's going to have a second point here to go up 2-1.
So a couple of good volleys here right off the bat.
Anna Hancock fires back row over to Masters. Masters now has to get it back to the middle. This one has to go over. Hennard does get it to the back row. Over to Darmajan. That one back to the right-hand side. Over to Unruh, and that one's going to be tipped and go out of bounds. And Lauren Unruh with a nice kill. I think that would have gone long if Witt wouldn't have had her hands up.
Yeah, she wasn't going to take a chance on that one. It's going to be close to the sideline, so she decided to get her hands up.
Well, the varsity team has something to prove. 3-1 now. They're up. Anna Hancock back for service number 3. Hancock now over to the far side. That one, Masters going to let it go out of bounds. And so a side out. Going to go now to the JV squad.
And Anna, one of our strongest servers. She's always our first server out of the box because she is a consistent, hard server.
Serve now. Dug out nicely. That one's a tip, and it's not quite go over as Olivia Hedeman reached up for it, trying to tip it over, and met by Karis Wolf. And Wolf won that battle. So back to serve here.
Lizzie Hennard serving.
Hennard deep back row.
Good
that one's going to
serve.
go back. Beautiful serve. Dug out nicely. Has to go over. Unruh with it. Up to the net. Just tipped over. And Witt now with it. Nice tip back. Back to the middle. Fired across the middle.
That's Jess Halverson.
Dug out nicely. Has to go over. Not going to make it.
They scrambled. They were trying to get that one back over. So Jess with a nice kill.
So this is fun to see because 2 years ago, even last year at the beginning of the season, you did not see that extra effort where you're going 10 feet out to try to save the ball. Unruh now with the serve. Nice jump serve. That one going to go into the net, though. Looked like her timing was just a hair off on that.
So critical on a jump serve. You get the timing just right.
Hughes subbing in for Woodman now. Up to the front row. Wolf now with it. Long serve by Wolf. That one's going to go out of bounds. And the Varsity's going to take a 5-4 lead again.
Did Karis play last year?
Yes,
Karis
she
Wolf?
did. And
Okay.
she really came on strong the second half of the season.
Okay. Was last year her first year?
That really was, yes.
Okay.
So Adrian Gary now into the game. Also coming back into the game, Kate Hancock for her. She subbed out when she went to the back row. And coach is going to make them do this the proper way. Aubrey Kinzinger comes in on the JV side. One coach made them do it the proper way. The other coach did not. So the goal is here to see how long Adrian Gary and Kate Hancock can hold hands.
Yeah. Playing patty cake.
I guess you can do that in a scrimmage game. So on the court right now, 16-12. So it's got Callista Hammer, Jessica Halverson, Janani Daharmajan, and Adrian Gary. I slaughtered it again, didn't I?
Janani Damarajan.
Damarajan. It's going to take some time. That one's going to go out of bounds.
I had to phonetically type that one out on my phone and practice it. That's what it takes.
I'll get it. It will take some time, but I will get it. Heil back for the JV, who trail now 5-4. Actually, it should be 5-5.
Natalie Heil, I've noticed, is a very strong server. She's got just a strong, flat serve, and it usually goes deep in the court, and that goes middle.
Nice set up to the far side. That one's going to hit over the net.
It got into the antenna. I'm not sure what a ref would actually call on that one.
So as long as it stays inside, it pushed it back inside,
yeah.
I would think. That's why we're officials, too. So
exactly.
Heil, second serve. This one's going to go deep the back row. Janani pulls it up. Janani, whatever.
That was a quick.
Kinzinger up in the air. That one's going to go over to the officials. And Laura Witt, I see fuming mad now after that. She is just furious, as I think that messed up the ponytail. And
that's
Laura Witt not happy with that at all.
Don't mess with the dude.
Her husband, look at the husband's glare. Tipped over nicely by Heil. Back up on the far side. This one reached across by Hitteman. Hitteman fires to the middle. Up by Heil. Heil over to Witt. Witt fires over. Back to the far side. Over to
Jess Halverson.
Halverson now tips it over back to Witt. Over to Heil. And Grace Masters fires across court. Janani now with it up. Back over the top. Back to Kinzinger. Kinzinger tips it up.
Witt.
This one all the way over to Masters.
Grace.
Masters with just a nice little soft touch over the net. Over to.
And Hitteman tries to put it down.
Masters now with it. Fires
She
long.
goes deep. She saw the gap in the back right
Fires
corner.
for it. And a nice swing by Grace Masters. Was that Grace or was that Faith?
That was Grace. That was with an outside hit. She went to the far right corner.
Haley Webb circling back into the game now for Jessica Halverson. Grace Masters now serving. Nice serve by Grace. That one dug out nicely by Webb. Up in the air.
That's Hitteman.
Hitteman with it. Fires to the back row. Up in the air to Heil. Heil now over to Hughes, and Hughes over into the net. And so the varsity team now is going to take an 8-5 lead. And the rumor has it that the JV team beat them earlier this week.
That's Janani Damarajan with the serve. Janani with the set to Hitteman.
Nice block there by the girls.
Faith with a good block. I think Lizzie was in on that one too. And Anna hits that one into the net. Goes a little low. So JV with a block. And varsity can't answer on that one.
And 11-7 is the varsity score. Varsity leads by 4 here.
Faith Hughes up to serve. Coach mixing it up
There
here.
we go. Yep, we're going to have to actually do it. They're going to have to hold the hands, wipe the palm thing, whatever they do.
Make it official.
There we go. There you go. Wipe the palms. Because, of all the other COVID restriction, that is okay.
Absolutely.
But Hughes now back
The
to
sweat
serve.
kills COVID. You knew that.
And that one's going to go deep in the back row, out of bounds.
And that kind of worked as an icing timeout for our server on the JV. She puts it out the back of the court.
And Woodman's going to come in for Hughes. Woodman with an opportunity.
We have Olivia Hideman up for serving on the varsity. Great serve from Olivia.
Masters with it, fires to the back row, over to Jenny, and nobody's there for it. A little miscommunication, so point over to JV. Now the point, look, I'm not sure what happened to the score. It was 11-7.
Well, the ball did hit the scorekeeper in the head.
That's right, and so apparently the score has went from 11-7 to 9-8, just like that.
That was quite the kill. What did it give us, 3 points on the JV?
So I think the JV team has a 1-point lead. There's an ace by Carson Witt, and they're going to take a 2-point lead. So JV does lead by 2. They gave that point to the JV. I think the score's all messed up, but that's okay. I blame it all on Laura.
Yep. Jenny with a serve received to Olivia Hideman. This goes to Lauren Unruh.
And a little miss hit there. How's it going, sir? Did you? And Carson Witt with another opportunity to serve. This one fires over the middle, dug out by Unruh. Back to DeHarmajan. That one fired across court. Masters digs it out. Up to Witt. Witt now over to Hennard Long. She's got to go back to the back row with it. Up to the front. Now back to Hideman. Hideman now over to Kate Hancock.
And
blocked. Wow. Has to go over, and it does. It's going deep. Dug out by Woodman. Woodman up to Witt. Witt
and a
just
tip
tips
from
over.
Witt.
And here we go for Hancock. Hancock loads, fires, just tips it over the middle.
Oh, and a one-hander from Witt.
Back row. What a nice volley here. What a great save by the Varsity team.
Another one-hander.
Out of
this one
bounds.
goes out. Great volley.
Beautiful on both sides there, and the Varsity team comes out on top.
Good effort on both sides. They're not going to let that ball drop.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch.
Carson with 2 one-handed digs was just able to get under the ball with that one hand. The second one just went wide right.
Callista Hammer now back with the serve. That one's going to go out of bounds. And a point over to the JV, 12-9.
JV leading this one by 3.
Varsity was up by 3. JV now leads.
Well, that's what happens. They targeted the scorekeeper, and it paid off. Another one-hander by Carson.
Yep. So Jenny she's going to be the default. Is she a libero? That's why she's wearing the different color?
Yeah, she is the libero for the varsity. And she is a great server as well. She's one of the most consistent servers we have on the varsity. And this is Lauren Unruh coming in with the serve, jump serve. And that's going to go a little long.
Of all the serves tonight that weren't returnable, that was very close.
Yeah.
So Karis Wolf, who has really grown into herself in the last year and a half and has become a force to be reckoned with. As I say that, she puts it into the net, but she really has emerged as one of the top players of the JV squad, and really is starting to give Kate Hancock a run for her money just with her jumping ability and her long arms. She's built like a middle hitter.
Yeah, she has some good net play right up at the net. She has the potential to block a lot of balls. I think we're going to see that this year from her.
Adrian Gary now back to serve. Gary puts that one into the net. Another quick turn there. And
Coach does not like that.
He's going to call timeout. So Dave Hughes sitting right below us there. Dave, what do you think of the match this evening thus far? And insightful words by Dave Hughes, and we thankful for his
color commentary.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Beautiful, Hughes. Thank you very much. Could not expect better from you, actually, at all. It's a match.
So the varsity's got to be sweating a little bit right now. JV's up by 3.
And Morin's over there saying, the ball has to go over the net. When you serve it, the ball goes over the net.
That's always good advice.
Then when it comes back to you, you have to hit it back over. That's all I know.
That's the
about
fundamentals
coaching
right
volleyball
there. You know what you need to know to play volleyball.
Right. So JV out there right now, you've got Masters, Heil, Kinzinger, Hennard, Hughes, and Witt. For the varsity, you have Smith, Halverson, Hideman,
Gary
Damarajan, and
Damarajan
and
Callista Hammer.
Natalie Heil back to serve. And she's another one that when she is hot when it comes to serving, it's fantastic.
Yep.
Over, and that one fired across by Hideman. Hideman now back up, and little miscommunication there. Witt was backing up, and Heil was coming towards her, and neither one of them went to it. So.
And Heil is a setter as well, right? So
She
her and
is.
Witt are both setters, and I think they got confused who was supposed to be setting.
So sitting to my right is Allie Kinzinger. And Allie, from seeing this right now, what are you most impressed with the JV and varsity teams thus far? No is not an answer. Hands up is not an answer.
Haley Webb with the
Nothing
serve,
to
and
say.
it goes wide left.
That one's going to go out of bounds.
Well, I tell you what I've been impressed with, and I've been impressed with just their level of hustle. They will not let a ball hit the ground without them being on the ground.
Heil now with it over the front. Kinzinger has to hit it
Kinzinger
over.
with
She
the
does.
hit. Nice.
And that one went all the way to the back row to Webb. And
that's going to count as a kill for Kinzinger.
That will. From the back row.
Chalk it
Well,
up.
she stepped up. 16-12, 4-point JV advantage. Masters back to serve. Masters has moved in a little bit, and she was on the line on that one, too.
She pounded it out the back.
She knew the instant she hit it.
Here comes Olivia Smith. We haven't seen her serve yet tonight, I don't think.
Nice serve. Back to the back row. Brought up by Kinzinger. Up to Witt. Witt now back to the middle. Hennard has to get it over. She does. Dug out by Smith. Up to Gary. Gary tips it over. That one back over to Kinzinger, and it was a little miscommunication there between Kinzinger and Heil, and it went off an arm and out of bounds. That should have been Heil's ball right there.
Yeah. Carson was able to get under that one. She put it up in the air, which is what she's supposed to do, give time for the setter to get under it.
Smith back within 2 points over to Hennard. Hennard now over to Heil. Heil up to Hughes. Hughes to the back row. Return now by Smith. Over to Gary. Gary now over to Hancock. Hancock fires over the top, and that one's not going to make it all the way over the net. And Varsity now back within 1 at 16-15.
Coming on strong. The pep talk from coach must have helped.
Smith serve number 3. Over to the far right. Hennard now up to the front. Heil again. Over to Hennard. Hennard reaches and goes long, and this game's all tied up at 16.
JV's going to have to regroup here a little bit. Varsity's got a rally going. Hennard.
Heil over to Faith. Faith just tips it this time. Nice tip. Far side and out, and just a little bit strong by Hideman.
JV gets side out.
17-16, 1 point JV advantage. Coming back into the game, Eliana Woodman and Karis Wolf. Out is Faith Hughes and Aubrey Kinzinger. Woodman back to serve. And that one on the line.
I think it was on the line.
That was on the line.
Oh, coach is calling it out.
Don't call that out, Coach. That was in. That was in all day long.
Let's watch the instant replay.
That was in. There we go.
They're going to redo it.
Redo. What kind of a call is we can do that right now. We can do that till there's umpires. Nice serve by Woodman now. Back row.
Damarajan.
And Hancock had to get it over and unable to do so. So JV's going to take a 2 point advantage here, 18-16. And substitution coming in for Varsity. Coming in, Callista Hammer is going to come in for Anna Hancock. Eliana Woodman back to serve again. Long serve. That one's going to go out of bounds. And Haley Webb with a nice decision there to let that one go by. 18-17, 1-point Varsity advantage.
And Varsity getting hyped up here in the huddle. Let's see what that does. Olivia Hideman coming up to serve.
Kate Hancock back into the game. Nice serve. Hennard
bailed that one out. That was
she's
going
gotta
out.
Get it over, and she can't do it.
She's realizing it now that she was standing outside when she received that one.
So Olivia Hideman now. Opportunity to serve again. Nice serve again. Dug out by Masters, and that one just a little bit off the right hand to go out of bounds, and Witt unable to get to it. 19-18, Varsity now up by 1. On the game to 25. Hideman now with it. Another great serve. That's one of the best serves tonight.
That was a
Hennard with it now over the net. Up to Dawn Marajan. Gosh, I'll get that. Nice set. Nice over there by Unruh.
Wolf puts it back over.
Has to get over. They
has
do.
to scramble.
Heil now with it over to Witt. Witt's got to get it over. She does back to the back row. Dug out nicely. Up to Hideman. Hideman now over the top, and just a beautiful tip by Callista Hammer, who lined up and was running up like she was going to smash it, and then at the last minute pulled off and just tipped it over the top. Take a 2-point advantage.
So Hideman's got a rally going here.
Nice serve, and that one's going to.
That was just inside the line, yes.
And that has been, she has served some nice balls here. A lot of fun to watch this serve. She starts all the way back on the carpet and then just fires, and it just
that is
drops
a rocket.
off. Yeah, that's a beautiful serve. That's 5 points in a row now for Olivia Hideman. Hideman now, serve number 6. This one's going to go long.
Floats that one.
Yeah, that one was not like the other 5 that we'd seen.
No, she got under it a little bit.
So an opportunity now for the JV to come back. Now JV has been up all game long. Now find themselves trailing by 3 points. Witt back to serve. Back row, and that one's going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, that looked out.
And back to the Varsity squad. So we're going to see who's going to get the ball now, and I believe a substitution will come into the game. So Jessica Halverson will come into the game for Haley Webb. Back to serve will be Callista Hammer.
So 2 points here. Varsity needs 2 to win this.
And they want this. That one's going to go out of bounds. So 23-20 now. Varsity up by 3 over the JV squad here in set number 2 of the evening. And Grace Masters, who has been the – no?
Why is it going back?
What
happened? That looked out.
That looked out. Well, hometown refs. That one's out of bounds.
Goes out.
So it should be 24-20. There we go, yeah. 24-20. Well, it should be actually. That should have been.
Hey, do you guys remember how to do instant replays?
I need to get Jared's.
Oh, he has a special piece of equipment for that.
Hennard now with it. That one's going up, and that's the point. And Varsity is going to win set number 2 of the evening and avenge a loss apparently from earlier in the week.
That was a good game.
That was a very good
Hard
game.
fought.
We've seen some I think what impressed me the most was the service of the Varsity squad. The serving was far improved from what I've watched in video from last season.
Yeah. Yeah, especially from Hideman there. She went 5 straight points, and she just had some rockets.
So Marla Heil, before you go, Marla Heil, before you go, so what are your thoughts? Come on, you got to talk, Marla. Come on, your name's already on it. Everybody's going to know that you're just not going to say anything, so you have to say something. Come on up, come on. You got to get close. Hughes at least gave me 2 words. So Marla, after seeing the first 2 sets, what are your thoughts thus far?
Well, I think they're doing really well. You know, it's a good boost for the varsity since they beat the JV. But
so I was told that the JV beat the varsity earlier in the week in practice or something. So this was vengeance for the varsity team.
Okay, well,
She's like, I just want to go. So anytime I can politely say goodbye would be fine. Oh. So we've got one more match coming up. This is going to be varsity versus varsity. And it's this will be, again, interesting to see how he's going to divide up the players. And the only two JV players that will move up are Carson Witt and Kate Hancock. They have Varsity has a full roster. I'm going to go down that one more time. So you got number 4, Alexis Hitteman. Number 5, Anna Hancock. Number 6, Kate Hancock. Number 7, Laura Unruh. Number 8, Adrian Gary. 9, Haley Webb. 10 is Carson Witt. 11 is Olivia Hitteman. You're just watching for that one name. I know you are, and I'm still going to butcher it.
I'm tracking.
12 is Callista Hammer. 13, Grace Masters. 14, Janani Dharmarajan.
Janani Dharmarajan.
Dharmarajan. I got the last name.
You did. You nailed the last name.
I did get it.
Janani.
I will get it. So back in the day when I had names like this, I would actually use punctuation. So every time I saw it, I could remember which syllables to emphasize. And I guess I could do that now, but I would think after you've repeated it 82 times, I think it was 83 actually.
You'll get it.
I'll get it. Olivia Smith is 15, and Jessica Halverson is number 16. So, again, scrimmage night tonight. I hope you've been enjoying this. We have been experimenting a lot of things with a lot of times with different camera angles and different camera shots and trying to do a couple different things. We will have, hopefully, score overlays throughout the season, but tonight, again, just a night that we can get together and try some things out. We've got a new little setup we're working with up here, so obviously some kinks to work out, and we're doing that tonight. Thursday night, Jeremy and I will have our broadcast with you live from the Uni-High Auditorium down in Urbana, and last year they were cordial enough to let us in. They're letting us do that again this year, so Jeremy and I will bring that broadcast to you. That'll be game number 1, opening night of the season.
We'll be sweating it out in the gymnasium over in Champagney.
They did say that there's no air conditioning in that gym.
There's not much air movement in that gym.
Gee whiz. At least last year. See, that's the nice thing about the junior high season is that it's done over the winter and into the spring or early spring. And so even if it is no air conditioning, you're fine.
Well, and thankfully this is the hottest week of the year that we're going to do this in the hottest
right.
gym that we ever play in.
And
so,
we're going to be up high.
Exactly.
If there's not already enough hot air in there, there will be.
So if I was a betting man, I'd say pretty sure the Varsity's going to win this next match.
I would go probably with the Varsity
yeah.
as the
I'd take those odds.
Yeah, I would too.
Whatever the odds are.
So the JV versus JV, the JV won in set number 1. JV versus Varsity, the Varsity pulled that one out by 3 at 25 or by 4 actually, 25-21 for the middle match, which is really the fun one of the evening. So now the JV gets set, or excuse me, the Varsity gets set to play themselves, just as JV did in set number 1. And so Grace Masters putting on her Varsity jersey as she has cordially played the other side all evening long for us. So she is the 3rd player that will play on both sides of the ball. So you've got Carson Witt, Kate Hancock, and Grace Masters that will play Varsity starting out this season.
Yeah, so this is going to put the other side at a little bit of a disadvantage because they don't have, well, it puts most of the setters on the Varsity squad is what it does.
Right. So I just, my question is Grace going to dress for both?
Oh.
And play for both during the season? I would imagine Witt and Hancock will.
Yeah. And Grace will too. Yeah. I think that's the plan.
So your job is to keep her healthy then for, 3 hours
Absolutely.
with a volleyball multiple times a week.
Yeah, that's no small task for Grace.
All right. So on the left side, Varsity, we have got Anna Hancock. You've got Adrian Gary. You have got Janani Dharmarajan. Darn it. You have got 13 Grace Masters. And hang on, Allie.
Okay.
And
so they split this up a little
Hammer.
different than what I was expecting.
That's not what I would have thought.
This is very evenly matched. This is interesting. So we got our big blocker on the left. That's Olivia Smith going against our other big blocker, Lauren Unruh.
So they split Hancock's up too. And back to serve is Olivia Hitteman.
And she's got just a rocket of a serve, and she's still on.
Yep. And she's had the best looking serves of the night thus far. And she will have service number 2.
Goes exact same spot. Grace is not fooled twice. Witt puts it over. Hitteman back to setter. Lauren just tips it over. Nice little touch by Lauren.
And Lauren does that a lot, just with that little touch.
Yep. She takes a good look across the net, puts it where she needs to.
Hitteman now. Another serve. Back over the middle. Dug out, attempted to be dug out there nicely.
By Jenny.
And that one just goes off her hands. And so now she has taken her libero jersey off.
Yes, she has, but I think she's basically still playing libero. I don't think anybody has a libero jersey on right now.
No, there is none out there. Matter of fact, there's no varsity players on the bench. So
and
that's probably
Jenny.
why.
Yep, that's Adrian. And
Kate
Kate tries to
Hancock.
put it down with a one hit.
And just mistimed her jump just a little bit there, and that is the key to all these hits, is timing that jump perfectly. And every ball's different.
And right side is up, 3-1.
Masters with a beautiful serve. Back out, back to the back row. Has to be tipped over, and Unruh does tip it over.
Gary gets it, and this is Anna Hancock puts it down with some force.
So I'm talking to my daughter who's in practice, and I've asked, okay, which of the two Hancock girls? And she says Anna Hancock has got just as much arm as Kate does.
She absolutely does, and she's a great server.
Hancock, Kate with it. This time just tipped over. Dug out by Unruh. Back up in the air by Kate Hancock. This one now just tipped over. Middle,
Jess
dug
Halverson.
out nicey. Over to Jenny. Jenny now over to Witt. Witt tips it. Back over the net. Kate Hancock has to do something with it. Nope, that is going to be Hitteman. Back to the back row. Anna Hancock now. Fires across the middle. Dug out nicely. Over to Kate Hancock. Back row. It's going to go a long way. And that one's going to go out of bounds. Webb. And Webb had a long shot at that one, trying to reach that one as it would go in the wrong direction.
Good volley. She had to scramble to get that one in the back row.
And so it intrigues me. Why does she do this? Why does she sometimes serve in the middle? And
it just mixes the defense up. They're just not quite sure what she's going to do. So she moves on that back line, and she's going to mix that serve up where she's not only where she's serving from, but where she's going to hit it to.
Over to Webb, now Hitteman. Hitteman over to Hancock. Hancock fires to the back row, and that one off Jenny's arm and out of bounds. And it will be a point and a side out over to the right. So Callista Hammer now with it. Hammer now with her first serve of this third set. Beautifully played down to the middle. Jenny digs it out up to the front. This one just tipped over, and a beautiful tip there by Olivia Smith. Just kind of like you were saying earlier, looked through the net, saw the opening, and pushed it over to it.
Yeah, she does a great job at that. She'll go up for the block, and if she gets the block, she'll sometimes just lightly tap it back over.
That one long, and Webb off her back arm, and that one's going to go out of bounds off the scoreboard. So 4-4. We are. So Jenny is going to have another service opportunity here, second.
Some good volleys here on this match.
And that one
out.
Just out of bounds.
It's close.
Surprised they don't have any JV players playing line judges at this point.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're waiting to. No, they're not waiting to come in. They're
just sitting and cheering their teammates on here. So Lauren Unruh, nope, that one they're going to say was in.
Ooh.
And Jenny's going to have another serve here, so that should be a point, or either that or they're going to redo it, one of the two.
Yeah, they call it jump ball.
You know what? They're actually saying it was the wrong person serving.
Oh.
So Olivia Smith should have been serving. So we're going to blame that one on Laura Witt, just because we can. Hammer now up with it, up to Hitteman. Hitteman over to Hancock, fires the back row. Now that one
Great
tipped.
hit from Hancock.
Yeah, that was timed perfectly.
She got on top of that ball, and she fired it.
And they're going to say they shouldn't even have been playing. That point didn't even count.
That was just practice.
This is why we scrimmage.
Well, if that was not supposed to be Damaraj and serving, that actually should have been a point for the other team.
It should be. They should take one off, actually, of our point, because Damarajan got the point right before her second serve there. But regardless, 4-4, Olivia Smith now with it, up to Hitteman. Hitteman now over to the near side.
Halverson.
And Halverson into the net with it. Oh, we do. Left side gets a point. So Olivia Smith now back to serve again. Third serve. This one dug out nicely. Going to go out of bounds Over to Hancock. Hancock has to get it over. She does. Over to Masters. Masters now up toward to Gary. Gary, and then fires over.
Good
Is Olivia
reaction
Smith.
from Smith.
Wow.
She digs it back out of the net.
Hitteman just
Oh.
finds a hole. I'm sorry, that was Olivia Hitteman, who just kind of looked over, found a hole, and tapped it to it.
Great reaction from Smith. Her hit actually was blocked, and she dug it back out of the net.
That was awesome because I think it was her. She hit with her right arm and then dug it back out with her left.
Yeah.
Something I am not is ambidextrous.
Well, and that's one thing that I've noticed with this team is they've got their instincts have just come a long ways.
Yes,
being able to get back down into the net and react to those. And that's what a good team has to do. They have to be able to react instinctively.
Well, as you're watching some of these teams play, you know, when we were watching 2 years ago, back when our daughters were playing on the same junior high team, the confidence wasn't there for them to leave their square.
Yeah.
Now they're going 10, 15 feet out and going to the extent of the gym, which is all confidence.
Yeah. And it's confidence in your teammates.
Right.
They're going to cover for you too. And it's confidence in knowing just where you're supposed to be and that your teammates are going to be where they're supposed to be.
Right, exactly. 6-6 our score. Back to serve is Kate Hancock.
And the gym went quiet.
I can make the gym loud. Perfectly capable of doing that. Kate Hancock back to serve for the right. That one's going to go back to the back row. Dug out by Jenny. This one up and over to Olivia Smith. Or I'm sorry, that was Adrian Gary.
And did that stay in or did that go out?
I think went out of bounds. It did. It went out of bounds. So the right is going to take a 7-6 lead. Hancock for serve number 2. Dug out again by Jenny. This one set up by Witt. Over to Olivia Smith. Smith gets it over. Unruh over the top to Hammer.
Wow.
Or Hitteman, I'm sorry.
Halverson brought that one with the angle.
One more time.
Oh, and she hits it hard off the hands of Smith.
Beautiful.
Wow, those are some good hits.
Yeah, it is. This one has to get over. Unruh does it. And Anna Hancock over to Witt. Witt now over to Olivia Smith. Back row and out. And Olivia Smith with a nice kill there.
That was great. Wow, some good hits, some good blocks. Good
This team is going to be a lot of fun to watch this season. It'll be fun.
They're going to surprise a lot of teams, I think.
Yep. Back row dug out nicely. Up to Hitteman. Hitteman now back to the back row. Anna Hancock digs it out. Up to Witt. Witt now over to Masters. Masters with it. Back to the back row to Hancock. Up to Hitteman. Hitteman now just taps it over the net. Back up to Witt. Witt now up in the air. Over to Smith. Smith swings and puts that one into the net. And a side back out to the right. And a point to the right. 8-7. And that will be Halverson back to serve. Halverson now back, dug out nicely by Jenny. Tipped over, and Unruh just tried to block that and was a little outmatched that time by Olivia Smith. And Olivia Smith impressing tonight as well.
Well, that one hit just the top of the net, and it threw. I think Lauren went up for it thinking it was going to clear the net. It did not, so she was not able to get back and get that one.
Back row dug out nicely by Masters. Up to Witt, over to Smith. Smith fires, and that one does the same thing again. Grazes the top. Over to Hitteman. Hancock now. It has to get across up to Jenny. Jenny back up to Witt. Long over to Masters. Masters just tips, and a beautiful tip by Grace Masters just over the hands of Unruh and Hitteman.
2 blockers waiting for her there. She saw it and just tipped it over the top.
Very well read by Grace Masters. Jenny Darmarajan with a nice serve. Tipped over nicely. Up to Witt. Witt now going backwards with it. And that was just a missed tip. Either that or she was trying to do something we had not seen her do before. Over to Gary. But regardless, it's a side out. Back to the right-hand side. And Haley Webb now back to serve. 10-8. The right leads the left. Beautiful serve by Webb. Back to the back row to Anna Hancock. Up to Witt. Witt over to Grace Masters, who hits it long. And out of bounds and point over to the right.
Grace got a little behind on that one. Needed to get on top of the ball.
Webb quickly served. Dug out nicely. That one's going to go into the bleachers, though. And 12-8.
Right side pulling ahead here. Webb with her third serve coming up. Or is this fourth?
This is third.
Third serve.
For Haley. Back row, going to let it go. And a good call, let that one go out of bounds. So a point over, 12-9 now. Right-hand side score is the Adrian Gary now back with it. Back row, up in the air. That one's going back. Hancock has to hit it back to the middle. And Unruh back up. And this one's got to be tipped over. Brought out nicely.
Adrian Gary tips that one over.
Unruh, just a nice tip. Back to the center.
Left
nice
side
volley
gets it
here.
back. Oh, what'd we call?
What are they going to say?
Coach is calling something out.
It's the downside about wearing headphones. You don't hear all that. It was what? Back row attack. I don't. Is that a bad thing?
It's where the person in the back row, the person who's playing back row, they can't jump off the court when they hit.
Really? Okay.
I missed that. What'd she say?
So the back row attack is when the person in the back row cannot jump off the floor when they hit.
Oh.
I did not know that.
That's a new one for me as well.
So here's, you've been called on that. Grace Masters nicely across, over to Hitteman.
Oh,
Tipped
nice
over by
quick
Unruh.
set.
Back over to Masters. Masters with it. Over, just over the net. Back up to the middle. Kate Hancock loads, fires out of bounds. And side out and point over to the left. So back row attack is when your back row players, one of the three players, leaves their feet to hit a ball over.
Okay.
Got it. Dug out beautifully. And what a
Wow.
great save there as well.
Good one-hander from Olivia Hitteman.
Witt gets this one over. Back up to Hitteman. Hitteman now setting up Unruh.
Wow.
And a great put down there.
That was a good setup from Hitteman to Unruh.
And that one was timed perfectly by Lauren.
Those two are starting to mix it up a little bit, doing some quick sets.
And setting backwards and, yeah, really be able to throw the other team off nicely. Anna Hancock fires, blocked nicely by both Kate Hancock and Lauren Unruh. And Callista Hammer back with it now. Service number 2, 15-10, take that back. 5-point lead for the right. Hammer now with it. Long, deep backcourt Masters. Masters up to the front, now fired over Witt. Witt to the back row, dug out nicely. Hitteman now tips it over to the net, dug out again by Masters, up by Smith. Smith over the top, back to Hitteman. Hitteman back to Kate Hancock. Kate Hancock just tips it over. Back up to Witt. Witt has to fire, gets it out, and that one's going to go out of bounds. They can't play it off the wall, can you?
No.
That one you can't do. Well played, though, right? Well played.
Very good volley.
To keep that going.
Nope, not even a scrimmage. That works.
So that should be 15-11. Yeah, it is.
Olivia
15.
Smith. And that was going out, but they brought it back in.
And Lauren Unruh just taps it across.
This is
Set up
Adrian.
nicely by Gary. And just a little bit long for Anna Hancock. A little bit high. So side out, back to the right, 16-11.
That's going to bring up Lauren Unruh.
We've only seen her serve once.
This match,
Yeah,
this
match.
this rotation hasn't got around.
That timing was right on, and that's an ace.
on the line.
Nice serve. So she's got a deceiving serve because you think she's going to jump and serve, and then she takes another hop.
Yeah.
And another one back to about 3 feet in front of the same spot. And she's picked her poison right now.
She has. She's picked her spot, and we'll see what happens on this one. I think it's going to go to the same spot, but I don't think it's going to drop this time.
And that one would have been long and out of bounds, but dug out, and that one's going to go off the basketball standard. So that's 3 in a row for Lauren Unruh. And 19-11 now, the score. So the right side up by 8. Lauren now with it, grazes the top of the net.
There's not a lot you can do with that
No,
one. She
no.
had some top spin on it, and it caught the top of the net.
Unruh again, back to the back, dug out nicely, up to the front to Gary. Over to Smith. Smith now with it, brought back. It's going to be set, just tipped over the net, and Olivia Smith with a beautiful save. Hit him in with it now. Hancock has to get it over. She does. Back to the back row to the other Hancock. Set up nicely by Gary. Over to Smith. Smith down to the middle. Hit him in now with it. Back up to the top and reaching back over the top.
Halverson hits a hard one.
Jess Halverson putting it down.
We had blockers there on the left side, but it was deflected. Jess hit that one hard enough that that's tough to block.
And this is a lot of fun to watch when you've got when you've got a group of girls that are skilled to be able to compete like this.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. Unruh with another serve. That one's going to go out of bounds, though. So Lauren, after four nice ones, finally has one go out of bounds and giving the left, who are down by 10 here, an opportunity, and Carson Witt back now. Witt back to serve, fires across the middle, dug out nicely, back up to the front. Hit him in now, over to Unruh. Fires and puts that one down. And wow, does she have an arm on her.
She had her arm back. She was wound up on that one.
Between her and Kate Hancock, you could have a very fun 1-2 hit right there.
Absolutely.
Beautiful serve by Kate, and that one's going to go down as an ace out the back. And 23-12, she needs two more.
The right side is rallying all the way to the end here.
Hancock fires across the top. Dug out nicely. Here's Witt. Back over to
Gary.
Gary back up to the middle. Hit him and just tips it across the middle. Dug out again. Up to Witt. Witt now setting backwards over to Gary. Gary fires across. Dug out again. Hit him in now with it. Over to
Halverson.
Halverson back to the middle. Witt now over to Anna Hancock, who fires. Blocked in the middle. Tipped again. Dug out by Witt. Back up Janani with it. Janani. I'll get it. I will get it. I will get it. I
that
swear.
Gets tipped out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Damarajan.
Anna Hancock back to serve.
So left side hanging on here.
23-13. Hit him in with it now. Over. That one's dug out. Brought up. Witt now with it. Back behind her. Over to Gary. Gary with a nice kill.
Yes.
Actually, that was Carson Witt that put that one down. And so the left side now down by 9, 23-14. Anna Hancock with it, back in the back. Fires across. That one just tipped and out of bounds. Tips the top of the net, and that kind of turned the trajectory of it, put it out of bounds. So 24-14, we're going to have match point here. I guess if we're calling this a cap to the evening. Dug out nicely. Witt now with it over to Olivia Smith, who puts it down. It's blocked. Has to get over. They got one more. Olivia Smith tips it to the middle and puts it down.
Nice.
So left has a little bit of gumption left in them. 24-15 now.
Again, a great reaction from Olivia Smith.
That's phenomenal. How quickly she can keep an arm up there and react to a block. And for me tonight, she would be my left-hand side team player of the match.
Yeah.
Just with her reactions tonight has been fantastic. Nice serve. That one dug out nicely by Hammer. Back to Hammer. She's got to get it across. She does. Over to Masters. Masters now. Witt tips it back over. Witt again with it. Brought back by Hammer. Up to Hitteman. Hitteman over to Unruh. Who fires and says enough of this. It's done. And a beautiful put down there to end the evening. And the right-hand side team is going to pull out on top 25-16. So all around, Jeremy, it just tells me it's going to be a fun season to watch.
Well,
it will be.
To see the confidence that Lauren had tonight, I mean, she's just raring back to hit that ball.
And it wasn't just, I mean, she has her arm cocked back, just like a pitcher would to throw that right down the pipe.
Yeah.
So and that all goes back to confidence, and that's something that I know Coach Morin has been trying to teach these girls since, junior high and even earlier in some cases, that once you have the confidence, all the rest of that stuff will come along.
especially in hitting. When you're hitting, you just have to let loose of it, and that's what he has been trying to teach him is just you hit it. Just make sure you get on top of the ball and you swing hard. And if it goes into the net, sometimes that's going to happen.
Yep. A lot of fun to watch, and thanks for joining us tonight if you were out there. And, again, tonight was kind of our test run and in our scrimmage match that kind of give us a sense of our capabilities. And Jeremy and I will be heading to Champaign-Urbana Uni-High come on Thursday night. We'll bring this to you. Won't have all this gizmos and gadgets. We leave the gizmos and gadgets to Garrett and Mason for our home games. But thank you guys for being here tonight to help us out with this. And hopefully we worked out all the technical glitches. I've got to get my laptop fixed for Thursday night. Right, Garrett? I do.
Garrett, are you going Thursday night?
Garrett, are you frustrated at all the glitches we had tonight?